and won 11 of his 12 career major titles. Djokovic holds a 23-22 edge and head-to-head against Federer, widely considered to be the best player of any era.
Yes, we're getting to this fella before we get to the other guy on this list, the imperious, regal, coiffed, and supremely confident Cristiano Ronaldo. This is the generation-long argument in this sport. Who's better? Could it be that the other fella, Messi, is lurking somewhere else on this list? Ronaldo never lurks. He demands the ball, and then he shoots. The man who wears number 7, we have ranked at number 14.
In today's world, the measure of one's success is often determined, of course, through the size of one's social media following. And if you subscribe to this method, the world's most dominant athlete is far and away Real Madrid's Cristiano Ronaldo. At over 70 million Twitter followers, bots included, Ronaldo nearly doubles the Twitter following of the next runner-up athlete, LeBron James, besting the king by 30 million. His popularity is well earned. Ronaldo is the all-time leading scorer in UEFA Champions League history, having led the competition in goals 6 times. Just last month, he won his 5th FIFA Player of the Year award, tying longtime rival Lionel Messi for the most all-time. And he's closing in fast on 650 total career goals scored for club and country. By the way, if you're wondering, Messi is not on Twitter.
It's not an exaggeration to say that the athlete who's number 13 on our list was born to dominate. Both her parents played for Australian national teams, but Lauren Jackson's brilliance goes beyond biology. In women's hoops, she was a singular force for over a decade.
For more than a decade, Lauren Jackson was basketball nobility on 4 continents, winning 14 league titles with teams from 4 countries while playing nearly year-round. She was also a fixture on the Australian national team that medaled at 4 straight Summer Olympics. Teaming with Sue Bird in Seattle and Moscow, the 6'5", 3-time WNBA MVP won a combined 5 championships and led the WNBA in scoring 3 times.
Oh, Lauren Jackson, you're so good!
Injuries cut her WNBA career short in 2012, but even a half dozen years later, she remains among the league's all-time leaders in both points and blocked shots.
Of course, Serena Williams is on this list. Of course, she's in the dominant 20. You could easily, and many will, make the case she belongs more than a few rungs higher for her many and varied chapters of excellence, including 10 major tennis championships since her 30th birthday. All of that placing her at number 12.
In June 2015, Serena Williams was on one of her many historic streaks. Having won in succession the U.S., Australian, and French Opens, needing just a Wimbledon title to complete her 2nd career Serena Slam. She would go on to win in straight sets for the 6th of her 7 Wimbledon crowns and the 21st of her record 23 Grand Slam titles. At the time of that win, Serena's 21 Grand Slam total was greater than that of the rest of the WTA Tour players combined.
You can make a fair case that this next athlete is seriously underrated. He is arguably the greatest soccer player ever. For our purposes, however, the man who wears number 10 for Barcelona and Argentina is number 11, Lionel Messi.
Earlier this season, Barcelona superstar Lionel Messi added yet another impressive milestone to his staggering list of accomplishments and honors. Messi's successful strike against Atletico Madrid on March 4th was his 600th career goal. 539 of those coming for Barca, and 61 more for his native Argentina.
Lionel Messi again!
Messi is well versed in reaching milestones. In 2012, his 91 goals, 76 for Barcelona and 12 for Argentina, set a new record for most goals in a calendar year by 6. With the achievements came the honors. The most prestigious, of course, is the Ballon d'Or, the the trophy given to the FIFA World Player of the Year, an award he's won 5 times, tied with longtime rival Cristiano Ronaldo for the most in history.
I told you Messi was waiting for his term on this list, lurking like he lurks at the edge of the box. He's going to turn 31 in late June during the group stage play at Russia at the World Cup. Remember, that's the one trophy that haunts him. He's not yet lifted it.
You know, I can't believe Tom Brady is 20. How do you think New England fans feel about that?
I think we should close the doors and bolt them. I can't believe Serena is where she is. I mean, 10 majors since her 30th birthday. She should be in the top 10. What about the top 10? Where's Michael Phelps on this list? What place does Lance have, if anywhere? And we saw Tom Brady's Peyton on the list. Pretty safe bet that guy's on the list, but where will he come in? We'll have to see.
And who do you think has been on the cover of ESPN, the magazine, the most over the last 20 years? Would you say it was LeBron, maybe Serena, maybe Tiger? We'll tell you who it is coming up. The cover is elite company, surely, but now we're down to the ultimate exclusive club. Again, honed by calculations, the top 10 of the dominant 20.
Well, 10 as in seconds pretty well defines the workday for Usain Bolt. In fact, the world's fastest human. He's a track legend. He has never run a full mile at once. What he has done is chop that distance into tiny pieces and build a legacy that may never be equaled going forward. Once again, Wright Thompson will explain the majesty of each athlete. Usain Bolt at number 10.
The first time Usain Lightning Bolt earned the title World's Fastest Man, it was May 31st, 2008. That's when the 21-year-old Jamaican ran a blistering 9.72 seconds in the 100 meters, breaking his countryman Asafa Powell's world record by 0.02 of a second. In the following year, Bolt would knock another 0.14 of a second off that record. And a decade later, his 9.58 is still the best of all time. In both Beijing and then again in London, Bolt would break the Olympic record at 100 meters. He would also break the Olympic record at 200 meters. And then, in Rio, he completed an unprecedented triple-double. He swept the gold in both the 100 and the 200 for the 3rd consecutive Olympics.
If there has been one dominant trend in sports over the last 2 decades, it's been the empowerment of female athletes worldwide. Marta, the stellar soccer player from Brazil, has changed the way women athletes are perceived in her home country. She's number 9 on our list.
Her elite playmaking skills, knack for scoring, and unmatched creativity make Marta Vieira da Silva the greatest women's soccer player of her generation. Some say the greatest of all time. To football fans worldwide, she is known simply as Marta.
Marta finishes it off. Shooting low. Marta has scored.
And from 2006 through 2010, she monopolized the Ballon d'Or, conferred on the best player in the world. No one had ever won it before 5 consecutive years. Not Messi, not Ronaldo, not Zidane. Marta is still a force. Recently, she was named to the 2018 World 11, an annual global all-star team of women professionals.
Well, it's single-digit territory, and here he is. You could have made good money betting on this, and if Floyd Mayweather could have gotten the cash down in Vegas, he would have cashed in that ticket. Boxing, it is said, is not what it was, and Mayweather is not pretty in the ring, but he is perfect, which lifts him to number 8 in the dominant 20.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. stepped into the professional ring 50 times and emerged with an unblemished record. Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, even Conor McGregor. 50 fights, 50 wins. Utter dominance of the sport. Perhaps the greatest defensive fighter of all time, Mayweather became an undefeated champion in 5 different weight classes by making his opponents miss. Mayweather earned the nickname Money with 9-figure payday fights that put him over the $1 billion mark in career earnings. Over the years, he had numerous issues outside the rings, including domestic violence. But inside the ropes, Floyd Mayweather was money in the bank.
He started racing go-karts at 4 years old. He went on to earn more than $800 million in the auto racing circuit that matters most outside of the U.S., Formula One. The man they called the Red Baron is one of the all-time greats and at once a brilliant technician and tactician. He's number 7.
When the 2004 Formula One season began, Michael Schumacher was riding a 4-year streak of circuit championships, having just won his 6th overall. However, nobody could have predicted that Schumacher's greatest run of success would still be ahead. The German began 2004 by reaching the winner's circle in each of his first 5 races. A collision forced him out of the next race, the Monaco Grand Prix, but when he returned to the track at the European Grand, he began the longest win streak of his life, winning the next 7 races. In all, Schumacher capped the greatest stretch of the greatest career in F1 history by winning 12 of 13 races on his way to an unprecedented 7th and final crown.
She studied the game relentlessly. She practiced, she analyzed it, and surely she mastered it. And without arrogance, but sheer facts on her side, Annika Sorenstam says she decided to retire from golf 10 years ago because she determined she was as skilled as she could become. She simply could not improve anymore. That last part makes sense. She is a lofty number 6 on our list.
Every golfer strives for perfection, and nobody was more precise between the ropes than Annika Sorenstam. Never was this more apparent than on March 16, 2001 at Moon Valley in Phoenix. Sorenstam posted the lowest round in LPGA history, a 59, the first woman on the planet to break 60 as a pro. Eye-popping results were commonplace for the 10-time major champion from Sweden. 7 of those major victories came in the span from 2001 to 2005, during which she won a staggering 43 tournaments. Miss 59 finished her career ranked in the top 5 in wins on both the LPGA and European Women's Tours.
What can you say about Roger Federer that hasn't already been said? As it turns out, you can keep talking him up because he just keeps on winning. In a game in which bodies are supposed to break down, his just gets better with age. He's number 5.
The gallery at the All England Club had no way of knowing the gravity of what they were witnessing. Tennis's greatest champion, Pete Sampras, faced Switzerland's unheralded 19-year-old Roger Federer.
He's done it. The champion is out.
It became, in retrospect, a royal succession. From that point on, Federer would chase, catch, and blow past nearly all of Sampras's and everyone else's records.
He is the king. He is the master. He is Roger Federer.
This year, at age 36, Federer is still attacking record books.
Federer, the timeless one.
In January, with a win at the Aussie Open in Melbourne, he became the first man to reach 20 Grand Slam singles titles.
Okay, now we're in the lofty and thin air, close to the top of the dominant 20. We come to a fella who says that the critical moments of his career, those forks, or more accurately, turns in the road, others saw things in him he did not appreciate himself. Jimmy Johnson's control, his sense of the moment on the track, has produced a career that's landed him now in the 4th spot of our list.
In an era in which technological advances and strict equipment specs should have created parity in NASCAR's top series, the complete opposite happened. From 2006 to 2010, Jimmy Johnson drove the number 48 car to an unprecedented 5 consecutive Cup Series titles. Nobody had ever won more than 3 straight championships on NASCAR's top circuit. But that wouldn't be enough to satisfy Johnson. In 2013, and then again in 2016, he found his way back to the top of the standings, joining the King Richard Petty and the Intimidator Dale Earnhardt as the only 7-time champions the sport has ever seen.
Yes, the top three. And unlike Tom Brady, the athlete who is number 3 on our list was always expected to be great. In fact, in high school, there were those measuring him for that Gold Hall of Fame blazer. Somehow, he surpassed those insane expectations. We're talking about Peyton Manning.
The 1998 NFL Draft was held just weeks after the first issue of ESPN the magazine hit the newsstands. The Indianapolis Colts owned the first pick and needed a quarterback.
University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning started every game in Indy for the next 13 seasons, and he would redefine the quarterback position.
Manning takes the snap, throws it deep, wide open, Reggie, touchdown!
He would win 4 MVP awards as a Colt and lead Indy to a Super Bowl 41 title.
The Colts are world champions!
In 2016, Manning won his second Super Bowl as a member of the Broncos, and he retired after 18 years. No quarterback has thrown for more yards or more touchdowns than Peyton Manning.
Yep, that's LeBron. Of course he's on the list, but he's not topping it. Calm down. LeBron James, first photographed by ESPN the magazine some 16 years ago. His very public journey through the subsequent years has produced the most well-known and most influential athlete of the past generation. The challenge for him even now is to extend his peak, which shows no sign of abating. The only question was where LeBron would finish here, and the answer? The 2 spot.
Since entering the NBA in 2003, LeBron James has earned 4 league MVP awards. He's made the NBA Finals in 7 straight seasons for 2 different franchises. He's won Finals MVP en route to earning each of his 3 rings. He's won 2 Olympic gold medals, and his scoring average ranks 4th all time.
James! Oh, he throws it down!
And yet, the defining moment of LeBron James's career comes down to a single defensive play. In the waning minutes of a tied winner-take-all Game 7 in the 2016 NBA Finals, James blocked a layup after sprinting full speed the length of the court.
Oh, blocked by James! LeBron James with the rejection!
Finally bringing home a championship to Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland! This is for you! Oh! And securing his place as one of the very best to ever compete in any sport.
You've been waiting for it, and now we are here. Finally, number 1. He stands atop our list because of his achievements in the first decade of ESPN the magazine. In fact, in the last decade, he's been at times kind of a non-entity, but he had already done so much, so spectacular.
There's 34 swimming events, different distances, different events, different eras. There is no annual ranking of the best swimmers in the world. The way there is, even in boxing, you have pound-for-pound rankings. Even in track and field, you have annual rankings. It's an incomplete grade. It's not an athletic judgment. We just could not calculate that at this time.
Okay, I got to take it back to the Brady Manning thing because, look, Brady's got the Super Bowls. He's got the track record. How is he so much lower than Peyton Manning? How is that even possible?
So we credited organizations, franchises, for postseason victory, championships. So the Patriots on our list of best teams, okay? When it comes to Brady and Manning, quarterback stats have inflated rapidly over the past few years. Manning's early seasons are more dominant than you think. Brady wasn't really Brady, automatic MVP candidate, All-Pro, till 2007. It's just a matter of Manning having more seasons where he was clearly the best player in the NFL than Brady has. And it's no insult to rank number 20. This is out of thousands and thousands of athletes.
5 seconds. Why no Kobe?
He wasn't efficient enough over a long period of time.
Oh.
Peter Keating.
Led the league
Freedom of speech. It protects all opinions, and these are metrics involved.
And shots attempted.
All right. We have numbers and we have many opinions, and the cast of Get Up.
I'm Michelle Beadle. This is Greedy. That's Jalen Rose. We're the Get Up crew starting April 2nd on ESPN.
Congratulations on 20 years, ESPN, the magazine. Happy anniversary. And Jalen, let's dive right into the list. They want us to focus on the top of the list. So Tiger Woods number 1, LeBron James number 2. Did they get that right?
I like the Tiger Woods one. I would have put somebody else at number 2 instead of LeBron James. How about Serena Williams? Who's her rival? She's been able to disable and dismantle her entire sport for most of her career. I think she should have got more consideration.
She's on the list, but she's at number 12.
She's way too low. And also Tom Brady. He owns basically every postseason record imaginable in the NFL. He has more postseason wins than 27 NFL teams during that period. How are you going to put Peyton Manning over him?
Let's focus on Serena Williams because you are 100% right. Serena Williams should be at worst number 2 on this list.
Right.
And you could defend an argument for number 1. Let me give you some numbers, okay? Serena Williams has won 23 Grand Slams in the last 20 years. Second on the list in that time is Venus Williams with 7. In fact, if you add up the next 4 women on the list after Serena, they add up to 23. So she has lapped the field, and it's not even close. If you want to compare that, for example, to Roger Federer, the greatest men's tennis player probably of all time and certainly of this era, he's won 20 Grand Slams. Rafa Nadal has won 16, and Novak Djokovic has won 12. There's no way in the world he has dominated the sport the way Serena has, and neither has LeBron James.
Look, I think the list is well constructed if what you're trying to do is get people infuriated and click on, because that's basically what this is. And I like the idea that the argument of who is second to these people is very important. If second place is so far behind, then that is a legitimate part of the argument. For me personally, I don't think people that play team sports should necessarily be considered on the same level as individual sports when talking about dominance. To me, those are apples and oranges.
It's very hard to dominate a team sport in the same way that an individual athlete can, but if we're going to have the discussion, we'll have the discussion. LeBron James is an all-time great. He has dominated the NBA. He belongs high on the list, but not as high as Serena. It should have gone Serena and Tiger in either order.
Absolutely, and this says a lot about the greatness of Tiger Woods because the last 10 years, he hasn't won a major. And we still believe he should be a top of the list.
But what he did do that's the other thing. What impact did you have on the game globally? Are you an icon? You could argue this list forever, and I have a funny feeling that a lot of people are. Anyways, that was a very short version of what we're going to start doing April 2nd, because we'll be coming at you for 3 hours every single morning, 7 Eastern, on ESPN.
Get up now. Get on up.
They're having a good time. Can't wait to see them every morning. So we spent the past hour with you looking at these dominant 20, the athletes, the personalities, the ranking of all their accomplishments. And we come to the cover. Look for the cover. It is out now. If you subscribe, it should already be in your hands, the dominant 20. It's going to spark some debate, but no debate here, certainly. It has been a big deal. Congratulations to ESPN, the magazine, on their 20th anniversary.
And many, many more to come. Thanks for joining us for our look at the dominant 20. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Bob Lee. Congratulations and happy anniversary to ESPN, the magazine.